delicious cabbage soup that I made last week, and something said, you know what, let me show them how to make this soup because it was so incredibly delicioso. It was very delicious, y'all. So I'm gonna show you guys how to make this cabbage soup. So I literally chopped, I actually put it in the food processor. So I literally chopped a whole, you know how celery comes in that big pack of celery, whatever you call it, the stalk, or I don't know, y'all. I'm not a chef. I don't know the terms. Anyway, the whole entire bottom of this pan is that celery that I put in the food processor. And then I took a bag of baby carrots, a small bag, put that in the food processor and shredded it. And then I took 2 whole garlics, what do you call them, cloves or whatever, and peeled them and shredded up or diced up the garlic in the food processor as well. In here I have some onion. I put one whole onion and half of another onion, and all of these veggie seasonings are gonna give the soup an amazing flavor, y'all. Trust me, trust me, trust me. And this recipe is definitely vegan friendly. So for those who don't want any animal products, byproducts, or anything like that, you're good to go with this. So boom, here we have 1.5 in here. So we're gonna go ahead and okay, y'all, so the onion is diced, and I'm just gonna transfer the onion to over here with the rest of our veggies. Okay, you guys, so I've added the onion, and now I'm going to, and I probably did this all backwards. You probably was supposed to put the olive oil in here first, but I just kind of pour olive oil in there and just pray for the best and hope it reaches the bottom. So I pour the olive oil in here, and I am gonna cut this heat on my stove. Ooh, I got to clean this, y'all. I just had some made some tortillas in the oil for my baby's tacos. Today's Tuesday. So boom. Oh no, let's light this. We're gonna put it on medium high. So not on high, not on medium, but somewhere in between. And with this olive oil and the veggies, I'm going to saute this down, you guys, because it's so much of it. It's gonna take longer than the average. Like, it's probably gonna take closer to 10 minutes, but I'm gonna saute this down. And when I saute it down, we're gonna move on to the next step. Yes, y'all, too yummy. Okay, real quick, so you see it's starting to sweat down. Okay, we're creating that sauteed like effect. It's starting to cook down a little bit. So while the veggies are cooking, it's very important to lightly season every layer and every step as you go. Don't overly season it, but that's how when you create these dishes, when you eat it and it just tastes like layers of flavor, it's because you lightly seasoned each step of the way. So we got the veggies going. We're gonna put about a teaspoon of salt, and we're gonna put about a teaspoon of black pepper in here, and just let it keep sauteing for like another 7 minutes. Okay, y'all, so cabbage cooks down really low. Y'all know that is so much water content in cabbage. When you cook it, it cooks down to, I'm not gonna say nothing, but down to nothing. So I like to use a lot of cabbage. I'm going to, this here is chopped up in 1 inch to 1.5 inch cubes. I like to chop it to 1 inch to 1.5 inch cubes, and it's gonna make a nice soupy, the size of it just makes for a great soup. Trust me, trust me, trust me. So got this cut up, and so I'm gonna add this all to the pot. Okay, you guys, so everything is pretty much prepped. Now we're gonna throw everything in the pot. Okay, so I'm gonna transfer the sauteed down veggies into this pot, along with one of these bad boys of vegetable broth. And then I am going to throw the cabbage in there. Okay, you guys, as you can see, the cabbage is in the pot, okay? This is a really big pot, but like I said before, cabbage has a lot of water content, so it cooks down significantly. I put the veggies in there first, so you can't see those sauteed down veggies that we did. Those went in first, and then the cabbage on top. So when this sweats down in about 5 to 7 minutes or so, we're gonna mix the veggies and the cabbage all together and let it continue to cook, and then keep building onto this soup. So this is what we're looking like right now. Cooking down, but it is still a lot of cabbage. Like, this soup is gonna last us probably about 3 days, so that's great, especially for those who are wanting to eat a little healthier, and it's hearty and it can save you time because, you know, we've cooked so much and it's gonna last a few days. With that being said, don't forget this is a soup. It's not just a cabbage, it's a soup. So you see how it's so much cabbage to where you're not seeing the broth is not soupy. So you want to add it for your liking of how you like soup, but I like my soup a little bit more soupy. So I'm going to go ahead and add some more vegetable broth in here so that we can get more of a soupy consistency, you guys. And when this cooks all the way down, those flavors of the veggies, the cabbage, and the seasoning that we're about to put in here, that soupy broth, you guys, is going to taste amazing. Amazing. Trust me, y'all. I made it last week, and you could just eat the broth. You could just drink the broth by itself. Like, that's how good it is. The broth, you could just drink the broth. Okay, so I put a whole nother container of vegetable broth in here, and it's gonna continue to cook down even more and start to look a little bit more like soup. My last soup, my carrots, I did in chunkier pieces, but it grinded, you know, it made the carrot pieces smaller in the food processor this time than what I wanted, but that's okay, it'll still be the same taste. But the next one, I definitely want my carrots to be a little chunkier so it can make more sense being in a soup. But either way, with this garlic and onions and carrots and celery, it's gonna be delicious. So we're gonna let this cook down probably for about another 25 minutes or so, and it should start to look a little bit more soupy. And in a few minutes, we're gonna go ahead and throw our seasoning in there, but we don't wanna put the seasoning in there too early. So yeah, that's that. Okay, you guys, this is looking exactly how it's supposed to look. Now with the vegetable broth, if you want more of that, like a real soup, if you like yours really soupy, you can add more vegetable broth. That way you see more broth and it's sort of like the cabbage is kind of swimming in the broth. You can do it that way. That's how I did my last one. But since this one is pretty still, it's a huge pot, by the way. And so since it's still so, basically what I'm trying to say is this is enough for what I want. Like, it's gonna have enough broth to where it's still gonna create that soup feel for me. But if you do want more of a soupiness, like a real true soupiness, I would add probably like another half of a container of the vegetable broth. So now we're gonna go ahead and season our soup. So I'm gonna put about 1.5 tablespoons of oregano. I'm gonna do about 1.5 tablespoons of basil leaves, and that's only because it's so much. Like, if it wasn't this much, 2 cabbages, you could probably do half the amount. So I'm gonna do 1.5 tablespoons of basil leaves, and probably like 1/2 tablespoon of crushed red pepper. And what this is gonna do is give us like a little spicy undertone. It's not gonna be spicy, but you'll taste just a tiny bit of spice, like an undertone of it. So I'm gonna add that, mix it in, and let that cook for a couple minutes. Okay, so the seasonings have been simmering in the soup for about 2 minutes. Now I'm gonna add some diced tomatoes, just 1 can, and I drained most of the liquid off of it. You can leave a little bit, but drain most of the liquid off of it. And I'm gonna add that in there, and then I'm gonna add about a teaspoon, not too much, just about a teaspoon of salt, because you don't want it too salty. So about a teaspoon of salt, but you can salt to taste for whatever your liking is. You know, you can always salt it at the table, so don't put too much salt in there. You will defeat the purpose of cooking something healthy, adding all that salt. So maybe 1 to 2 teaspoons I would recommend for a pot this large. But you could definitely salt to taste. And so I'm gonna salt just about a teaspoon, and we're gonna let it simmer for about another 5 minutes and we'll be done. That's it. Okay, you guys, this recipe is done. The dish is done. This is my version of cabbage soup, y'all. It's almost 10:30 at night and I'm not hungry, so this will definitely be for tomorrow's lunch and dinner. So super tasty. Like I said, I made it last week. So if you guys have tried a recipe similar to this, or if you happen to make this, go ahead and comment down below and let me know what you think about this recipe. I appreciate y'all watching. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the like button if you want to see more videos like this. Okay? Y'all have a great weekend.